Please, come on, Alejandro. Let's not waste this opportunity to finally be together forever.
To divorce Hector is the best decision you could possibly make. Because a marriage without love is not worth it. You know what, Ruby? That won't make me go back to you.
Alejandro, if you won't be with me now, then I don't want this baby.
Are you talking about killing this child? Well, that baby isn't only yours, it's also mine, you know. You should take care of it. I can't believe you'd even think...
Forgive me, Alejandro. What I said was stupid. I'm not really capable of hurting my baby. He's my child whom I adore because he's yours. But it's not fair at all for him to be rejected.
Don't you try to blackmail me. That baby you're expecting is alive and you've got to learn to value it.
No, it isn't blackmail. This baby deserves to grow up in a family and always have beside him his real father as well as his mother.
Neither my child nor you will be left wanting. And for the safety of you two, you'll have to stay at my house.
Well, that's the least you could do to be able to protect us. Alejandro, please, I beg you. I don't want us to fight. Let's just try to get along well. Most of all, do it for our child. I'm sure he can feel now what's going on between his parents.
Then from now on, we've always got to think about what will be good for the child.
What's good for our child, you know, is to have his parents together, living in a home full of love. True love, Alejandro. That love that I didn't used to appreciate. But now I'd give up all the money in the world to have it once more.
Maribel, instead of leaving the hospital, I think you should have made the first move to clear things up with Alejandro once and for all.
And why should I? He said he wanted to talk to me and he hasn't done so yet.
Maybe he's trying to find a way to tell you. This is very delicate. You understand this, I know.
Exactly. This is something very delicate. He should have looked for me immediately so we could talk it over. But he didn't do it. That's so very strange of him, Lorena. I don't know what to think.
Okay, take your time and think carefully what you want to do. Listen to Alejandro's version first and then make your decision.
How could I take all these things calmly if my relationship with him is at risk? Don't you realize? It's the woman whom Alejandro has always loved.
Yes, but now things are very different, and we both know that he has shown that to you.
Lorena, now that things were doing great between Alejandro and I, once again Rubi comes between us. If I had known before that the child was Alejandro's...
What? You would have silenced your love like you've always done, Maribel, please. If you two really love each other, then there's no reason for you to separate.
No, Lorena, it isn't that easy. Because this child is going to tie Rubi to Alejandro for the rest of his life. For the rest of his life.
Alejandro. Maribel found out about the truth.
I spoke to her and I told her. Because I've got no reason to lie nor keep quiet about my child.
I'm the one who should have told her about it, not you.
I'm sorry, I understand that you two still have a lot to talk about. But you've got to know something else, Alejandro. I learned that Bermudez got out of jail the day before you were poisoned.
Therefore, it could have been him.
Will you tell me who's this Bermudez?
So then, Maribel de la Fuente could easily be hurt by anything concerning that other woman, Rubi.
That woman is expecting the baby of Alejandro, but she's married to Hector, the man they believe who poisoned him.
How lucky I am that suspicion is being diverted that way. You know, Ernesto, this could work very well in my favor.
Rubi was Maribel's best friend and Alejandro's girlfriend, and she betrayed both of them when she ran off with Hector and married him.
You know what? I'm beginning to like this Rubi even though I don't know her.
I suppose that thanks to the baby she's going to have, Maribel is going to break things off with Alejandro. And if I obtain the copies of his investigation, I'm going to be able to discredit him in her eyes.
We need all the requirements so we can process your application. We need to know your work history, and we'll know how much you'll be able to loan from us.
And when do we get our loan from you? It's that we need to know when we can renovate our house.
Once I have all your requirements, you'll actually get your loan immediately right after without guarantee.
That very
Yes,
soon?
that's right. The credit card company will just deduct it from your salaries. You just have to give us the authority to do so, and we'll process the paperwork and provide the complete copies for you.
Okay.
My love, I'm so happy. This loan program is really great. I'm sure little by little we'll be able to pay this one. Finally, our dreams are now coming true.
My dream is to always be with you, Caetano. I just married the man that I love.
I didn't know you were having problems with this guy Bermudez.
And how would you know if at that very moment you were very happy with Hector in Cancun? Enjoying your new life as a queen?
Are we going to start arguing again? Alejandro, I'm so worried about what could really happen next, that this man could actually hurt you once more.
I'll be all right. You don't need to worry. Petra,
Oh, yes, sir.
please pack me a suitcase of clothes good for several days.
Right away, sir.
You're going on a trip?
No,
Alejandro, how was it?
Father. It is indeed my child. So I've decided that Ruby is going to stay and live in this house.
All right, my son, whatever you say.
I'm asking you to take care of her, because you understand that if Ruby stays here, we cannot possibly live under one roof. So I'll first stay in a hotel, and later on I'll just look for an apartment for myself.
I'm glad that you're here now because I was very worried and upset. I can't allow Genaro to come here to upset you. Just look at the state you're in.
Oh, Arturo. What's happening is horrible, and unfortunately it affects all of us. I thought that Alejandro was different, but he turned out to be a moron. Neither my son or Maribel deserve what he did to them.
Why do you speak like that of Alejandro?
I never imagined that Alejandro was capable of sleeping with my son's wife.
What? Ruby and Alejandro?
Yes, Arturo. The baby Ruby's expecting is his. It's Alejandro's.
Seems you're now happy with Alejandro since the day I left you at the hospital. So what's this whole thing about Hector having you locked up once more? You're so selfish, you don't tell me
I never found the time, Loreto.
The best part is that you're now living in this house, and so that means you'll have lots of money once more. And so now you'll be able to pay for a set of wardrobe that they brought to your sister's house. And I brought you a new set again, because I hate seeing you in that cockroachy fashion state when you were at the tenement.
Oh, quit it. I haven't got a cent now, and Alejandro refuses to reconcile, you know?
What? I thought you have proven that the baby you're expecting is his and yours.
Well, that's why I'm in this house, but he won't be living here. He's planning to take care of the expenses of his child and look after me while I'm pregnant. But he doesn't love me anymore, Loreto.
Don't tell me that he did fall in love with Maribel.
Of course not. He just said it because he's resentful. But that cripple will never take away what's mine now. Neither Alejandro nor his fortune will ever be hers.
What are the things you've got planned to make that happen?
This way, sir.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
I really needed to see you.
I also wanted so much to talk to you. Alejandro, I would have preferred it if I heard it from you. That the child Ruby's expecting is really yours, not from her.
You have to forgive me. I first wanted to make sure of the information and clear up a lot of things with her before speaking with you.
Of course. As always, Ruby comes first.
No, my love, no. That isn't true. You know that I love you. You're the very first and the most important thing in my life. I've come to a decision.
I've also made my own decision.
First of all, I want to tell you that I'm no longer in love with Ruby. You're the only woman that I love, and I want to start a new life with you. I love you. I never imagined I could love anyone this way.
I also love you. And know that this kind of certainty only comes once in a lifetime.
Yes, my love. You've awakened something in me. It's the best thing that ever happened.
To know that you love me as much as I love you is what really gives me the strength to bear everything that lies ahead.
What are you talking about? There's nothing but good things that lie ahead of us.
Alejandro. You know, that's no longer possible. I love you like I've never ever loved anyone. But I can't let a child grow up without a father.
That cripple has got to step aside, Loretto. I went to see her and tell her she cannot leave my child fatherless.
And do you think you were able to convince her?
Maribel is sensitive. I hope she won't make things difficult. This baby is being very useful. Most of all with Alejandro because he's capable of doing anything for his baby's well-being.
Then why not asking for money now, giving the excuse that you're going to buy things for the baby like clothes?
All in good time, you know. Right now I can't accept anything from Alejandro. I have to appear as if I'm dignified, like a self-sacrificing mother.
Well, we'll see how long you can put up with your little game, darling, because whenever you run out of funds, you're in such a foul mood.
You don't need to worry. I will find the money somewhere, somehow.
Alejandro, please, I beg you. Don't make this any difficult for me. You and I can't continue together. Your child isn't to blame for anything, and you'll have to attend to his needs.
Maribel, but of course. That's exactly what I told Ruby. My baby won't be left wanting. Maribel, I'll be taking care of the expenses and all.
And your love? Your support? We're now talking about a baby who's going to need you every day of his life.
And I swear I'll do so. I do promise you. Have faith in me. Please be with me on this, you know? Maribel, you know me very well. You know I'm the kind of person who won't abandon a child.
This is not at all about the question of trust. You're someone I trust. As a matter of fact, I really believe that you could be a very good father. That the most wonderful thing for me was to think that someday I could have a baby with you too. But right now...
No, my love. Come on, why are you saying these things? Tell me.
Because if I were the mother of your child, I'd like it so much if we'd be together. Alejandro, I'm really so sorry. And in spite of the pain that I feel now, I think that the right thing to do is for you to be with Rubi.
Has my brother arrived yet? No, I guess he must be drowning in a lot of work. How strange. He agreed to meet me here, but while waiting for him to arrive, I'll show you what Luis bought for you. All right, let me see. Look! Oh, how cool. I love them. They're really very nice. Gosh, how sweet of Luis. Don't ever tell him that I've shown you this, because he wanted it to be a surprise. You don't have to worry. I really love them all. If you'd like to see more products, just look through the catalog of Illusion. You know, in case you want to shop for more stuff. I'm trying to save up since I plan to study in the United States. That's why I want to do good with Illusion. It's really worth the sacrifice. I'd also love to study outside the country, in the area of tourism. That'll be a dream come true. In Cancun, I've learned a lot with Luis. Your dream will happen. I'm sure you'll see. I hope. I've sent out a number of applications, but I still haven't gotten any reply for now.
Maribel.
Daddy. Daddy.
Honey, I'm really so sorry.
You knew about it?
He never spoke to me. I told your dad about it. I'm sorry, Maribel.
Thank you for being with me now. Alejandro was here a few moments ago. I gave him up, Daddy. I gave up Alejandro.
But how did it come about, Petra? Why didn't you let
Well,
me
sir,
know?
I didn't notice. As Mrs. Ruby was here talking to a friend of hers, a tall, thin man with mustache. I served him some snacks, and when I came back, she wasn't here.
I told you clearly to always keep an eye on her and let me know if anything happens.
What's going on, Father?
You may go now, Petra. Ruby left the house.
You mean she's gone now?
I'm so sorry. But I was attending to your mother. What should we do, Alejandro? Remember that Hector could be a danger to her as well as to your child.
I know that, Father. I'm going to look for her.
But where are you going?
I don't know exactly.
I'll go with you.
I'll first
then.
have a look at the house, Hector. No, please,
really
I beg
prefer
you,
to
just
go
stay
with
here,
you. It might
Father.
be too
Just do
dangerous
what
if
I
you-
ask you. Why are you here?
I want to talk to you.
I was also going to see you to ask you about Ruby.
What's that? Ruby isn't here with you?
Yes, come in.
Hello, Lucio.
Well, it seems that pregnancy makes you look very pretty. You are very beautiful.
You wanted to end our friendship only because you learned I was pregnant now.
No, no, not the friendship, no, but only our game of power and seduction. Although now that Hector has taken over all your shares, our business relationship has also come to an end.
That is indefinite for now. And if I didn't show up for the meeting, it was because of Hector.
I heard he locked you in, and I don't blame him. Who wouldn't have a woman as beautiful as you are, locked inside their own house?
I appreciate my freedom, Lucio. And no one is going to tie me down, even if he's more powerful or stronger.
That's why I like you very much, Ruby. That's why I agreed to help out. Someone like you can never lose. They always have to get what they want.
That's right. And if you wouldn't want to help me, well, I'll just find someone else who will then.
I know that. That's why, let's talk about it. Have a seat, please. What is it you want? I guess it isn't only to recover your shares, because you deserve a lot more than owning just a few shares, right?
I don't know where Ruby could have gone. If you don't believe me, you can go look for her at my house.
I warn you,
Calm
she's
down,
again.
scare me. Please, will you?
I beg your pardon, sir. I came here to tell Alejandro that I've realized the error of my ways and to apologize to him.
I hope you're sincere about it. You better try to control yourself and not hurt anyone.
That's why I'm here. I still love Ruby, and I'm not going to deny that. But you also have my word that I'm never going to hurt her again for sure. Or your child.
It isn't enough to say that you know. You've got to prove it with your actions.
I had to suffer 3 years with Hector, so I do deserve part of his fortune. And besides, I really want that jerk to pay not only with his money, but also with tears for everything he has done.
The sweet heavenly pleasure of vengeance.
Well, I'm not only vengeful, but I'm also very grateful to whoever helps me out.
I know that. That's why I'm willing to be very patient with you. I suppose that for the moment, you don't have any funds, huh? And you think with this amount you can manage for a while without problems? Huh?
You're very generous, Lucio. And I know that if I need more, I now can feel confident enough to ask you.
I see that you have no limits. You're a woman who's really so difficult to please.
That's right. Few things in life satisfy me. And one, lots of money.
Mm-hmm.
Another is sweet vengeance.
Oh, we're so much alike in that one. And because of that, I suppose there's no need to remind you that nobody plays with me.
Neither with me, Lucio. That's why I won't ever be satisfied until I teach Hector a lesson and recover my shares in the hotel. And you, Lucio, how are you going to help me with that one?
I decided to leave Alejandro so that he can start a new life with Ruby. Because that child isn't to blame for anything.
I know that that woman got pregnant on purpose. Because she knew it was the only way to get back Alejandro.
Alejandro also did wrong, Elisa. He shouldn't have taken up with a married woman.
I agree. What they did was unforgivable. It can't be justified.
Honey, I don't want you to suffer. I don't want to see you suffer again.
And how?
She's not there, Christina? Please, if you hear anything from Ruby, tell her to call me. No, you don't need to worry. Hector's here with me.
She isn't with her sister?
No. I also called Loreto and nothing. So I guess I need to go to your house, Hector. You do understand that I've got enough reason not to believe what you say.
I understand. You'll see I'm telling you the truth. She's not there.
Yes.
Alejandro,
Ruby, where are you?
I just went out to buy some cute clothes that I thought would be good for our baby.
Tell me where you were and I'll pick you up.
No, that isn't necessary. I really don't want to bother you, honestly. I'm heading back.
Well, now that I've proven to you that I wasn't lying, I'm going now.
Wait a minute. There's something else we have to talk about.
What's that?
Are you going to divorce Ruby?
What I do with Ruby doesn't concern you. And if you think that I'm going to give you a chance to be with her again, well, you're very mistaken.
The child that she's expecting is mine, you know. And I'll register it under my name.
That'll be a decision for Ruby. Not you, do you hear me?
Forgive me for leaving you on your own, but I had to attend to some matters.
No need to worry. I was really only waiting for you so I could say goodbye. Because I have to leave.
You know what? I really missed you. I hope we can see each other more often. I don't want you to deprive me of the pleasure of being with you, Ruby.
You can be sure that we'll be seeing more of each other.
Now what's the matter with you, Christina?
Alejandro just called me asking about Ruby. He says she left his house without telling anyone. I told him that she wasn't here and that I haven't seen her.
You mean she's now living at the doctor's house?
Yes.
Well, what a smart Ruby. She got herself pregnant just to catch a new one.
Enough, Mrs. Lola.
Honesty is not a sin. It only offends.
I want you to go down to reception and tell Miss Dulce that I'm very upset because the mail hasn't arrived on time and I don't want it to happen again. Tell her I'm really angry.
Yes, ma'am.
Go on, thank you.
The last time you took me by surprise. Now it's my turn. I warn you, don't ever dare raise your hand on me again.
No. Out of respect for your condition, no, I won't do it. But I remember in life, things do come around,
That's
my
true.
dear.
Someone you think is your enemy could be a friend. Thank you for informing Mr. Renato that Hector has me locked in. I always knew that you were very crazy about my dear husband, that you won't be leaving me locked in there.
I helped you out, only for the sake of Hector, not yours, dear. Besides, the best thing that could happen to Hector is if you'll finally disappear from his life.
That's precisely what I really want to do. Never to return to Hector again.
I don't believe a word you say because I know. And I know that for whatever reason that would seem convenient, you look for him once again.
Well then, if that's what you think, that's up to you.
And someday, you're going to regret it very much having lost your Hector. 'Cause he'll be with me now.
With you? Please, come on, Elena. You're really no match for me. Until now, I've never met even a single woman who can take away a man I'm interested in.
I'm going to open the eyes of Hector. And just like you've been regretting having lost your Alejandro, it's going to be too late when you're finally facing with reality that you're dying to recover your Hector.
Please forgive me for barging into your house, but I was very worried when I left you with Ruby.
I do appreciate your concern, Ernesto.
Maribel, I imagine that this must change all your plans, because I don't think you'll want to share your life with a man that's going to have a baby with another woman. You've got every right to choose a husband for yourself, without the kind of commitment having a child will bring. And that's why
Maribel, I hope I'm not interrupting anything. I came to see your father, but I also wanted to say hello to you.
Please come in, Lucia. This is Ernesto, a friend from work.
Lucio Montemayor, Count of Aragon.
Pleased to meet you. Well then, I'll call you later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Of course, of course.
Have a seat, please, Lucia.
Maribel, why don't you speak to me as your friend? As a matter of fact, I don't know what made you change.
Because...
I got worried when I found out that you weren't at home. I thought that Hector had locked you up again.
I'm very sorry. The last thing I wanted was to worry you, Alejandro.
I do hope so. Although Hector came here to assure me he won't bother you again.
Well, don't believe a word. He's still very obsessed with me.
That is why you have to be very careful.
Alejandro, I can't stay here all the time not being able to go out. The only joy I have is having my baby, since I know that he's really going to love me because I'm his mother. That's why I went out, to buy a few clothes with this money I borrowed from Loreto.
I said I'll take care of all the expenses.
No, Alejandro. I've already told you that what my child and I will really need is your love. I've got food and a roof over my head, but if I stay here in spite of the fact that you don't love me, it's only because I'm scared Hector could hurt us. But don't humiliate me by giving me your money.
If that's what you've decided, well, all right.
Whatever you decide to do, I won't become bitter. I'm going to enjoy my baby. It's a pity you don't want to share the joy with me.
Yes, you're right, Lucio. The baby Rubi's expecting is Alejandro's.
I really feel for you, Maribel. I wanted to warn you so that you wouldn't suffer. But I realized that you were very upset with me.
No, forgive me. It wasn't like that. Well, it's Rubi. She has always lied, and it was difficult for me to believe her now. Not even Alejandro knew about it.
And what are you going to do?
Although Alejandro says that he won't be marrying Rubi, I can't continue seeing him. It's my duty to set him free so he could be there to raise his child.
You know, Maribel, you surprise me more every time. You're an admirable woman. That's why I dare to offer you all my support. I know that you love Alejandro, but I want you to know that you can count on me for anything at all. I'm your friend.
Excuse me.
Oh, hello, Arturo.
Daddy, Lucio came here to visit you. I'll leave you two alone now. Excuse me.
Arturo, before we talk about business, I'd like to talk about your daughter.
Did you talk to Rubi? Did you tell her not to leave again without telling us?
Yes, Father. And I also talked to Maribel, and she's decided to end our relationship right away.
Well, I expected that from a woman like Maribel. It's normal that she doesn't want to interfere between your baby and you.
Father, I love her. I can't give her
Take
up
things
just like
very
that.
calmly, Alejandro. At the moment, you're confused, and that's to be expected.
I know that. Father, I've always wanted to have a child, but my relationship with Rubi is now over. I was really convinced that with her, I'd never be able to build a new life nor a family.
Alejandro, it's been common knowledge that I've never liked Rubi, but I know very well she's been the love of your life. That's why I ask you, won't you at least reconsider starting a new life with her?
No, Father. I will never give up on Maribel until I've finally convinced her that she must come back to me.
Alejandro, it isn't enough to look forward to having your own child. You've got to do what's necessary to give it a family. Think about it very seriously. The first responsibility towards a child is to give it a good home.
You're my friend and we've done business together. That obliges me to be sincere with respect to what I feel for your daughter.
Lucio, Maribel is suffering from a great disappointment.
Of course I know that, and I don't fool myself. I know that she's in love with Alejandro Cardenas. I also realize that I'm several years older than her. But I really do care for Maribel.
What are your real intentions?
Maribel is a beautiful woman, distinguished.
That doesn't have titles like you.
That's what matters least of all now. Look, my friend Felipe of Asturias has just married that reporter, Leticia. She didn't come from a family of nobility, huh?
Are you saying that you'd like to marry my daughter?
Frankly, yes, I do.
I really don't know if she would agree. Besides, I'm not the one that decides.
I'd like to have a son and a daughter. I'd like to teach them that in life it's important to be responsible for all the decisions and the mistakes that one makes.
Oh, I hope that someday I can finally get married to someone like you, sir. So honest and very decent. You won't believe it. I've just received an email from the hotel management school in Switzerland. They've granted me a scholarship for my master's, Father. My dream is finally coming true.
Congratulations.
And when will you be leaving for that, lady? Father, I was thinking it might be very selfish for me to want to leave here.
Why do you say that, sweetheart?
I can't just leave you alone with... You know the way she is. And besides, Alejandro's got a lot of problems. It won't be right to leave now.
Sophia, you can't carry the burden of everybody else. You've got to think of yourself. Think of your own life. Besides, considering your brother and me, have you thought of what will happen with your relationship with Luis?
Yes. What's going to happen with Luis?
I was surprised to learn that Bermudez was released from jail on the day before he were poisoned.
If there's anybody who wants to take revenge on me, it's him. Though I know I haven't got any proof that he's the one, but there's a probability, right?
That's why I made additional security measures. Now all the entrances to the hospital, as well as the area of controlled medication, will be watched permanently for 24 hours.
Perhaps it would be helpful if we alert all personnel, so if he's seen in the hospital, they'll inform us right away.
I want to talk to you about the shares of Rubi.
What shares are those? I remember telling you she's turned them over to me.
I know that Rubi signed a document for you, but I also know that you forced her to sign it.
Is that what she told you?
Yes, and I believe her so.
And what does it matter to you if that were the case? I told you I don't want you interfering in my life, much less that of my wife.
If I'm interfering, as you call it, it's because you committed something illegal.
I submitted a legal document and everything was in order.
You know well it wasn't that way. Surely there was fraud in the signing of the document, and that's why Rubi came to look for me to ask for my help.
This issue is just between me and her, Lucio. It's one thing being partners in the hotel, but it's a totally different thing to want to meddle in my private life. I'm not going to allow that.
I can see the difference very clearly. And if I have offered my support to Rubi, it was as a friend and not as a partner. You've been forewarned, Hector.
Yes, come in.
Maribel, we really need to talk.
I've got nothing more to say, Alejandro. I've made a decision and I won't change my mind. Oh, yes. My daddy and Mrs. Elisa brought you this. A present from their honeymoon.
I don't suppose that either one of them will approve of me now.
Does it matter?
It does to me. In the case of Mrs. Elisa, I know there's nothing I can do because Hector's in the middle. But I want to talk to your father. I want to explain my side. Maribel, please, I have to talk to your father. I can't accept losing you.
Yesterday, I was at the house of Maribel de la Fuente and I found your son with her. I didn't like what I saw, so put a stop to that immediately.
Unfortunately, Ernesto committed the stupidity of falling for that woman. But I'll make sure that he stays away from her. My son can't possibly have a relationship with a woman who sent me to jail in connivance with Alejandro.
I understand that you detest her. And since I told you that we're going to destroy Alejandro, I warn you that with Maribel, you are not allowed to lay a finger on her.
Oh, well, my dear Count. I didn't think that this woman interests you that much.
Alejandro, I don't want to continue discussing about this. Please, I beg you, stop insisting. What we have is now over. Please don't make it any difficult. There can no longer be anything between us.
Maribel, I love you like I've never loved anyone. I really need you. I really need your strength. I need to feel you. I can't stand being far away.
Alejandro!
Rubi!
Alejandro, we have to help her. What's wrong with her?
Come on in.
My son, I came to see how you were. Did you read the letter?
Yes. And in spite of what happened the last time I saw you, Godfather, I still don't understand why you had to keep it from me for so long.
I explained to you that I didn't want you to suffer. Hector, I do love you.
I don't understand your way of loving. Because to remain silent is a form of lying, of betrayal. And you've done that with so many people.
Yes, you have a point. I admit I have many faults of my own. And perhaps your father made a big mistake leaving you in my care. But I swear to you that I never meant to do you harm. Neither you nor anyone else. My way of loving isn't perfect. But neither is the way you love Rubi. Not the same way that your father loved your mother.
Perhaps he did love her. But he didn't love me.
No, Hector, for God's sake. Now don't put that idea into your head. Miguel loved you very much. People who have that problem don't realize what they've done. And if you read the letter, you would have realized. And you would have understood that your father had...
Yes, I appreciate that you gave it to me. But you should have told me about it long ago.
How are you doing, Onésimo? What brings you around here?
Come on in, handsome. Come in.
Both of you, my sweethearts, are reason enough for me to come and pay a visit to this neighborhood. And since I've come to realize that at the main gate of this tenement, your businesses are extremely doing very well, I came to become the competition.
What are you talking about, huh?
Oh, look here. I'm going to set up my own sign that announces my offer for exclusive and first-class plumbing services. A real one of a kind. It addresses all the distinguished clients who come for your quesadillas or your tamales.
But look how smart he turned out. He doesn't even plan to invest some amount, but he wants to already reap the profits.
What's this? What do you mean I have to invest? What you see now is already a very great investment.
Oh, I give you my support. Because they say if we really want someone, we better give them a hand.
Thank you, Mariquita, thank you. You do know what I'm really worth. And for you to see that I won't ever let you down, I'm going to give you as well a great big Annabelle.
She wants to give you a hand, huh? Right? Well, let's see if you also want me to give you this hand right on your face.
Thank you, Alejandro. What happened to me now? I suppose I'll have to put up with these fainting spells during the rest of my pregnancy.
Ruby, I'm a doctor, and I know you didn't faint. You were only pretending.
No, Alejandro, are you kidding?
Don't pull that trick on me again. It's not for you, but for the sake of my child.
Since I've been taking therapy with a psychologist, I feel that I've been making progress. But the thing about my phobia, all thanks to you and the advice you gave me when we went to the Hotel de la Selva. Do you remember?
How could I forget?
Oh.
Thanks to that trip, we got to know each other better.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, Elena, you've become my confidant. You're always there. Especially during this difficult time.
You know that you can count on me always and forever. Why don't you try and go for therapy as well? It would help you a lot. If you like, I'll introduce you to my doctor.
The best therapy for me is a change of scenery. To stay away from everything that reminds me of Rubi. I'm even thinking of selling my shares and distancing myself from the hotel.
Really?
I don't want to deal with Lucio anymore. Now Ruby has turned to him for help in trying to recover her shares. The ones she turned over to me.
You mean Ruby asked help from the Count again? Against you?
Yes.
No. My God, but this is way too much. You're right in wanting to keep away from her, huh? Well, but, if you leave the hotel, I'm going to miss you very much.
I don't think so. I want us to continue seeing each other.
Well, I only came here to ask you if you needed anything because I've got to go on a trip to Morelos.
To Morelos for what?
To see my mom. I've got to ask her some questions about my past, and it seems that's the only way to understand the origin of my phobia.
I hope you clear up everything you need to find out. I'm going to be fine. Although honestly, Elena, I'll miss you so much.
Well, I'll just be gone for a couple of days.
And you? Will you be alright?
Yes. Well, it scares me to face my mom after such a long time now, but I'll be alright. I'll see you.
And if I go with you?
On my trip?
I want to begin a new life, Elena. And I wanted to be with you.